Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to call to order the Monroeville Municipality Planning Commission, July 17th, 7:30 p.m. Would we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief moment of silence? Pledge allegiance. Okay, please be seated. Sharon, would you commence with the roll call, please?
Mr. Bertoni?
Here.
Mrs. Lawrence?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here.
Mr. Masson? Mrs. Lewis Burke?
Here.
Mr. Siegelson?
Here.
Mrs. Montgomery? Mr. Weldon?
Here.
Mr. Meyer?
Here.
Mr. Biko?
Here.
Mr. Deiserwald?
Here.
Okay, first order of business will be the approval of minutes from last month's meeting on June 19th. I'd like to seek a motion to approve those minutes, please.
It's July 7th.
Or, I'm sorry, July 17th.
Okay.
I'll
So
motion.
move.
I'll second.
We have a second? All right, we have a second. As motion, minutes are approved from last month.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. I'd like to make a few comments here before we untable, we move forward, so that we can have a little bit of order and streamline the evening. I'd still like to pick up from where we left off last month with 5 minutes for everyone speaking, please, and that they have one time to come to the microphone. And it is imperative that everyone must speak at the microphone so that the recording secretary can do her job and do it accurately and with concise outcome to do that. Other than that, we can move forward. We need to untable from the minutes of last month the 3 topics with the Willow Crest. I'd like to seek a motion to untable 24-3ST, untable 24-2-C, and untable 24-5 SUB. I'd like to have a motion to untable that, please.
I'll motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion is untabled.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Paul, I'm going to move this on to you in regards to those 3 categories. I do understand from last month's meeting that the residents did get together in private. I believe that day was August the 6th. So it is my understanding that hopefully there's been some meeting of the minds done on that day, and hopefully we can move forward to concluding this. So
Okay.
give you the floor there, Paul. Thank you.
Point of order, when you made your opening statement, you said tonight's meeting was July 17th. Tonight's meeting is August 21st meeting.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I'll read the 3 applications into the record, and then the applicant is here to present the project, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments. First item, 24-3-ST, Willowcrest, applicant Primo Land Group LLC is requesting site plan approval pursuant to Article 3 of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 2779 to construct a single-family residential development consisting of 95 units and associated site amenities. The property is vacant and used to be the airport located off Logan's Ferry Road and is identified as tax parcel 741R33 in the R2 single/multifamily residential zoning district and consists of 46.62 acres. Second item is 24-2-C Willowcrest. Applicant Primo Land Group LLC is requesting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 504 VV Major Excavation of Monroeville Zoning Ordinance Number 2779 to permit a cut and fill operation totaling approximately 100,000 cubic yards of earth. The property is vacant and used to be the airport located off Logan's Ferry Road and identified as tax parcel 741R33 in the R2 Single Family, Multifamily Residential Zoning District and consists of 46.2 acres. Final item, 24-5-SUB Willowcrest, applicant Primo Land Group LLC is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval to subdivide tax parcel 741R33 into 95 single-family lots and 3 open space parcels in the R2 single/multifamily residential zoning district. The property is vacant and used to be the airport located off Logan's Ferry Road and consists of 46.62 acres. And the applicant is here. Would you like to give a brief overview of the project?
Sure. I am John Spagnola with Primo Land Group. We're here to present the Willow Crest development in the Garden City area of Monroeville, consisting of 95 single-family lots and 3 open space parcels. I guess this is the third time we've been up here, so
Right.
I could let you guys ask some questions, or we could open up the public comment if that works for everybody.
Do you have a plan? Do you want
Oh,
to
yeah,
use
I'm
this
sorry.
to
I have one.
set it up there so people can see what we're looking at?
We only ask you to represent because this might be the first time some other.
No,
people
no, no,
haven't
absolutely,
seen it, so-
yep, I understand. So we did meet with the residents, like Mr. Chairman said, and we did have dialogue. I don't know how much outcome we got from the dialogue, but at least we had some dialogue. During that discussion, we did decide to move the mailbox cluster from the Hazelnut entrance to the center of the development to try to eliminate some of the traffic patterns and to do some buffer yards around the detention pond.
John, when you and I spoke, I believe you mentioned that you were able to discuss with the residents that you're going to have only one road, is that correct, for the construction equipment to be coming in and out?
Yes.
To minimize any damage and/or noise levels and so forth to the area?
Yes, we actually, and I don't know if this is something that we can request here at the planning commission, or if it's something we need to request at council. We're gonna be doing some work down in the park, next to, the Hazelnut, cul-de-sac. We were gonna try to request a temporary construction access through that park. I think it would be easier to get the trucks in that way and eliminate the construction traffic from the Garden City roads of,
Okay.
you know, Buttercup, Quince, and Hazelnut. Again, I don't know if that's something that we can ask for permission here, or if it has to go to council.
That would be a council
Yeah,
decision,
that
but you
would
can certainly
be- that would-
discuss it here.
Not in our purview, right. Okay, anything else? What do you believe was more or less accomplished on the 6th? I mean, were you able to get a better relationship with the residents to suit their needs, to what they were asking?
Yeah, I mean, I hope I have a little bit of a relationship with them. We spent some time together.
Okay.
I don't know if, you know, I can do everything that they want to do. I mean, to be developed.
Right.
You know, we're presenting a plan that meets all the municipal codes. We've met the traffic ordinances, you know, we're connecting to 3 municipal roads that, you know, by ordinance, we are allowed to connect to. You know, we're open to, you know, helping with some speed bumps and some stuff that some people ask, but that's not really in our control. You know, that would be a municipal
Right,
question.
okay. Does the panel have any other questions, other than what we've already heard for, I think, last 2-3 meetings, not 2 meetings? No? Okay.
Okay. Would you like me to leave this plan up here?
Yeah, you can do that. That'll be fine. How about the residents? We take, again, one at a time. Come to the mic, 5 minutes, one time at the mic, please.
Please make sure that you sign in as well.
I already signed in, and I won't have an outburst, so I apologize for my last outburst. But I did everything I could to make that happen, and I was very insulted. And I did so in treatment and in a lot of pain.
I
So
understand.
with that said,
No problem. Thank you for coming. What was your name again, please?
my name's Carla Canesi. I live on Hazelnut Drive.
Okay,
So I have a prepared statement. We all know that responsible development is essential to the growth of our community, but it must be done with careful consideration of the impact it will have on the people who already live here. At your request, I coordinated a meeting with the developers and street reps on August 6th. I spoke with Mr. Spagnola on August 7th. All representatives were in attendance but two. While the gist of the meeting was good and informative, yes, there were no concrete agreements between the parties, as the residents were repeatedly told they could not make any promises. The only guarantee appeared to be the moving of the mailbox clusters and maintaining a woodline buffer. However, Hazelnut residents would like to request a privacy fence in addition to the woodline buffer. During the meeting, the residents learned that this is a by right development, and based on the developer's comments, it seems unlikely that any variances will be requested. However, a major concern is the impact on traffic. Opening Hazelnut, Quince, and Buttercup to connect with this development will significantly increase traffic on Dahlia and Garden City Drive. All the traffic from the new development will funnel onto Dahlia, then onto Garden City Drive, creating difficulties for the families at this intersection as they navigate in and out of their driveways. The suggested solutions include installing more stop signs or appealing to the zoning board and/or council for speed humps. However, if no variances are requested due to the by right nature of the development, appealing to the zoning board for safety measures becomes irrelevant. Even if such an opportunity arises, additional stop signs and speed bumps won't address the fundamental issue of traffic congestion on Dahlia. Furthermore, our children are at risk as there are multiple bus stops along Dahlia. I have consistently voiced concerns about this traffic study and its flaws, but so far my efforts have been in vain. I also want to add that people run that stop sign on Garden City Drive, and I've been hit there recently by someone that ran through it. I stopped at Dahlia for 3 seconds, you pull out, you make the left on the Garden City Drive. She rolled through it and hit me. So that's another problem too, because people do not stop there with this increased traffic there. Again, our infrastructure cannot sustain the heavy machinery used to develop the land. While the roads are approximately 22 feet across, the bends and tight turns would make this a challenge and a safety issue, so it's imperative that we have that temporary access if this is approved. According to Mr. Weldon, he stated in an email on August 7th that the number of houses for one entry point in a development is 50 houses. Currently, 95 houses are planned for this development. Another feasible solution is to reduce the number of houses for one access point rather than 3. Regardless of whether or not the number of houses are reduced, the issue still remains the same: the increase of traffic on Dahlia that grossly impacts the families that reside there. Additionally, there are serious concerns regarding the impact on local wildlife. The airport is surrounded by woods and trails that serve as habitats for various species, some of which may be threatened. This potential impact on wildlife must be thoroughly investigated before any development is approved. Personally, I have seen and heard owls and bats in the area, both of which are listed on the endangered species list. Furthermore, another resident reported seeing an evening grosbeak at his feeder, a bird currently listed as a species at risk. Protecting these creatures and their habitats should be a priority, and the presence of these species warrants careful consideration in the development process. I have been in constant contact with our council representative as well as a zoning board member regarding our concerns surrounding safety, traffic, and access points. If there is a possibility that this development will be approved, it is crucial that we identify an alternative entry point to alleviate the traffic burden on Dahlia before this committee grants approval. Addressing this issue beforehand is essential to assure the well-being of the residents and maintain the integrity of our community's infrastructure. Thank you. Unless you have questions for me.
I would just add about the endangered species, that's already been approved through a PNDI, Pennsylvania Natural Diversity Inventory. That's part of the DEP and state requirement for any kind of project like
Has
this.
that done recently, or
It was
was that done for Maple Crest?
It was done for this project, yeah.
Okay, I guarantee you that I just saw an owl the other day and heard it, and that's on the list.
Well, there's,
But there's different types of species of owls, so we don't
Correct.
know for sure.
correct.
But again, and I believe you, Jim, have said you saw the evening grosbeak that is also on that list. So, thank you.
Sure. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak? Please step up to the mic, state your name. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Can you hear me okay? Do I need to come to this one?
This
should be fine.
That's fine right
This
there.
one? Okay. Good evening. My name is Deborah Becker. I've previously stressed in the last 2 planning commission meetings that the airport and the neighborhood surrounding it are built on top of the old Oak Hill No. 5 mine. Many residents in the surrounding area have experienced trouble with mine subsidence and water. The biggest takeaway is the developer that is proposing this new development also developed Maple Crest. Admittedly, while excavating, Sandy Hill, NVR, Ryan Homes, whichever name you're going by, hit acidic mine water which flooded neighboring properties and caused approximately 10K worth of damage. There are reports of the wetlands being destroyed and that contaminated mine soil was redistributed as topsoil within the Maple Crest development. And let's face it, Maple Crest Phase 3 is stuck in development due to a lack of another entrance exit and how they built themselves into a corner over a high-powered gas line. So if you ask me if the development should be approved, the answer is absolutely not. Why would you want to reward a poor report card which poses multiple risks and threats to our community? Speaking of threats, when the community gathered at Evergreen Park to discuss this proposal and alternatives, a question was asked, why not make it a historic landmark or green space? Someone spoke up saying it would be too costly. A disagreement took place, and then I saw and heard the crowd gasp and turn. The only resident that we know of who is in favor of this development and was at last Planning Commission meeting stated, "I will shoot you all up." Several people heard it. I didn't, but clearly saw the reaction of the crowd. The crowd surrounding him tells me that he said something uncalled for. I have to ask, why? That's not how community works. It's important to note that this exchange took place before the attempted assassination of former President Trump. While everyone is entitled to their opinions and views, terroristic threats are never acceptable. Over the last 3 to 4 years, many residential concerns have been expressed specifically in regard to the redevelopment of the former airport. I am saddened to hear and see that countless times the resident views are not taken into serious consideration, and that sadly it seems the municipality can only see the reflection of tax dollars gleaming in their eyes. Sure, there are Garden City residents who live on dead ends and neighboring streets who enjoy the peaceful and quiet ambience the area provides. There are also residents and now a member of the zoning board who have expressed concerns of increased traffic congestion and pedestrian safety. Keep in mind, Garden City was built in the early 50s. All of the plan consists of narrow streets, does not have sidewalks nor speed bumps. The studies provided by Mr. Zach Staley of Trans Associates should be considered inconclusive. In a right-to-know meeting with myself, Ms. Canacey, and Mr. Wielden, we requested additional intersection studies. None of these intersections were evaluated. In a letter response to Mr. Kevin Whitfield of the Monroeville Zoning Board, Zach Staley writes, "Inclusion of the intersection of Chinaberry and Dahlia Drive would have negligible impacts on the results, findings, or conclusion of the study." The letter also went on to explain that the developer is not responsible for pedestrian safety under existing or future conditions. Therefore, this development should not be approved until additional studies have been conducted in consideration of the other intersections that will be impacted. Conduct the studies when Evergreen School lets out at 3:30 p.m. and have an accurate reading. Concerns of capacity were raised about Evergreen Elementary. Mr. Bertoni said that this is not the place for those questions, to direct them to the school board. Isn't the purpose of the Planning Commission to work in tandem with the municipality to maintain an interrelationship of plan components and potential impacts of the development? And while we are speaking of Evergreen, last night parents received a message via the Square app from the school principal, which I have also provided this letter in advance to Ms. McIndoe for anyone who would like to read. To summarize, this year there has been an influx of kindergarten enrollment, and some homeroom assignments may be changed to accommodate this influx. Also, high registration around. I'd be curious to look at the data and see how much of that population might reside at Maple Crest. With that said, the population of 95 potential homes is too much. The number of houses within this proposal needs to be reduced. Please vote no until adjustments are made. There are many concerns for wildlife in those woods, and I'd like to state that I have also contacted the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services with regard to the Endangered Species Act. Most residents of the surrounding area would tell you that it should be kept as a green space for wildlife and the community. Additionally, we'd like to put garden in Garden City. Monroeville and Pitcairn alike would thrive with a community garden, which will also provide sustainable food sources to so many within the municipality. So, let's say you do vote no. How do we preserve what we can and still generate revenue? The former estate of Helen Brown is an original piece of historic land from its airport days, and also home to a filming location for the 1978 original horror film classics Dawn of the Dead and Creepshow. Did you know that the haunted attraction industry generates $300 to $500 million annually?
All right, Ms. Becker, you have one more minute, please.
Okay. Did you know
Thank you.
that there's a huge following of horror film fans who travel to Monroeville, have participated in tours of the airport, and still try to access the site for that very reason? The sad truth about the property is you were sitting on not just a coal mine, but actually a profit mine, and didn't take proper advantage of it. While brick and mortar retail is dying, the potential of event spaces and in-person activities continues to boom, especially since the pandemic. The former airport is an excellent space to work in partnership with the Monroeville Mall and drive foot traffic to create a haunted attraction of sorts. It could be family-friendly, spookier at night, and tying back to the community garden aspect, a pumpkin patch. Spectators gather and are charged admission, and they can also be transported via bus to, in this case, the airport for a haunted attraction. It's important to note that what I'm suggesting could help reduce traffic and essentially control and mitigate traffic. In fact, Scare House, formerly known as Etna, is looking for a new home. Why not bring it to Monroeville, have the tourism, and the original House of Horror, where you can make $3 to $5 million annually and support the community and its residents who've all shared valid concern with this proposal. In conclusion, the number of houses within this proposal needs to be reduced and additional traffic studies need to be conducted. Vote no.
Thank you, Ms. Becker. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience, please?
Okay. My name is Jim Dallas. I live on Buttercup Drive, so I'm kind of representing the folks that live up on Buttercup Drive. And I'm just going to hit on some talking points. I'm not going to go into some of the stuff that everybody else did. The size of the development does bother me. I think it should be reduced to maybe to 70 to 80 homes, but I guess it's financially not feasible with the developer, probably because they got too much invested in it, or they're going to pay too much for the property. One of the main concerns everybody's bringing up is the traffic concerns. Yes, I agree, these are public access roads, okay? What I don't agree is they are side streets. They're not Garden City Drive, they're not Old William Penn Highway. They're winding side streets. They were never designed for that kind of development. This development was built back in the 60s. So we got this modern developments coming in with 95 homes. And if you look at Blueberry's not a straight run. It winds around, then it comes up to Buttercup to the plan. That is a problem. We have children live on all these streets that walk to the bus stop down on, let's see here, it would be Valley View and Quince. They walked in, and there's no sidewalks. There's no painted sidewalk, like I have on Garden City Drive. They have an area for you to walk. They don't have that. So what's gonna happen now when you have all this traffic in here? These kids walk down to the bus stop every day, and then you're gonna have everybody coming and going to and from work. So that's my main concern, is the traffic. So I'm asking, what are you gonna do with the streets? If you approve this, to use Buttercup and Blueberry as one of the main entrances to this development, what are you guys gonna do with the streets? Is the developer gonna improve the streets? Are they gonna widen the streets? Are they gonna put sidewalks, walkways in? Are they gonna move the utilities?
Gentlemen, is there someone that can address the traffic flow?
I could address it. The existing streets are not gonna be widened. Sidewalks are not gonna be installed. They are currently 22 feet wide, which is municipal standard. Most of the residential streets in Monroeville are that width.
I understand that, Paul. I agree with you on that. But the thing is, now we have increased traffic on a road that wasn't really designed to be a thoroughfare roadway. It was a side street. It was
Still gonna be a
never
side
meant to
street.
be a main entrance to something. And so now you have people walking on these streets. They have to walk in the streets. There's no place for them to walk. And you got all this traffic coming and going. Okay, you guys seen the news? A girl was just hit by a car and killed, riding a bicycle. That's the second one in 1 week. This is the kind of things that may happen to this development, if this development happens, if you do this to our streets. You guys want to live with that? If something would happen down the road?
I will sue.
I mean, it's like, come on, you gotta think about it. There's gotta be another way to do this development. He wants to build development, that's great. Let's find another way in. You said, isn't it like 100 homes you need 2 entrances?
Over 50.
Over 50. It's okay, 2 entrances. We don't need 3.
3 entrances actually helps the situation
No,
you're
it
complaining
doesn't.
about. Yes, it
To
does.
come up,
It
Blueberry.
disperses traffic more.
No, they all funnels to the same spot. It all goes to Delia, and Valley View, and then the Garden City. It all funnels in one spot. All the traffic's gonna come down in one lick. It's all gonna funnel.
We can't tell a developer he can't develop the property.
I'm not telling them not to develop, I'm just saying, let's get down to 2 entrances. Let's eliminate Blueberry,
So even if
Buttercup.
it was 2 entrances, it still funnels to the same spot. It's the same number of cars to the same spot.
I have a
They all
question.
funnel to the same spot, Paul.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's 2 entrances or 3 entrances.
Well, okay, we met privately with John, and there was discussion, it was brought up here about having another entrance. I don't know if this is the time to bring that up. It would be on the other side of the airport, which would split the traffic up by the park.
You mean the entrance through Greenleaf Park?
Yeah. That's something that, you know,
That would be a
something has to go
council,
with council.
yeah,
right?
council decision. I mean, we can discuss that here, but the
Yeah,
planning
I
commission
think
can't
we
make that
could,
decision.
But say that if that was be the case, if they could come in that way, that would kind of split it up. You don't have all the traffic funneling into one street. You have coming in from two different areas.
And Greenleaf is a wider road, so it would be
I
a
mean,
better
that would
access
make
point.
sense. Okay, so I did talk to John, and he's thinking about moving some of the stuff, but he didn't bring it on his plan here. At the end of Buttercup, we have two lots that are gonna be right up against the existing development. My suggestion to him is to move it back or eliminate these two lots to give a decent buffer zone in there, a fenced-off area, trees, wherever it is. So the transition from Garden City into the new development, looks a little nicer, and you don't have these new houses butted up right up against, my property and the property across the street. That's one of my sticking points right now. I mean, I could, if we could get that in there, I think eliminate those two houses, either move these houses back, shift it out, talk about maybe redesigning that, bending it around somehow. Come on up.
So we did prepare an exhibit for the access through Garden City Park. I don't know if that's able to be seen
No, it's
online,
Green Lake Park.
or Greenleaf Park, I'm
Right.
sorry.
So where are we at here? It's this.
Well, this is the park, this is right here.
Okay. So, I'd like to see that happen. That would split the traffic up. I mean, half of it on one side of the development, other half on the other side of it, and I wouldn't be having all that traffic funneling on the Dahlia and the Valley View. And then you could probably, if you had two entrances, you could eliminate. He's already got on the plan.
Have you discussed that with Dennis Biondo, the ward council?
No, I have not. I have not.
Approach him with that and then mention that when it gets to council.
Yeah, because that's what I like to see. I want that buffer zone, and I wish, I had my computer with me. Unfortunately, my wife took off with my car, and I had my computer in the car. I had some photos that I took today, as you drive up the street. I wish I could share these photos with you somehow. They're on my phone. And you have people parked on the street. You have a vehicle on one side of the street, another one on the other side of the street, you come up, you barely get through. And I just to get to my place, now imagine you have all these cars going into the development. It's, my argument is, these are not through streets, they're side streets. And I don't think they were ever developed back in the sixties to be used as a main entrance to something like this. That's my argument. Okay, I'm not arguing that they're public access, yeah, they're public access, but the use of that public access, to use a side street, it's really not a direct line of traffic or direct line to get into this development. You have to go left and right and left and right to get into this place. I don't think it's feasible to use Blueberry, Buttercup to get into this development at all. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
I mean, you need a straight shot to get into the place. Let's see, there are other talking points right here. I think I pretty much covered it. I did talk to John. I thought we had a good conversation. I hope he can come up and change this stuff here. I told him I support this if he would eliminate those houses and do something here about Buttercup.
Okay.
But, he wants to build houses, yeah, he has the right to do that. But I just don't like the disruption of our community. Gotta work something out.
I have a
It's
question.
a two-way street, that's what I'm saying, it's a two-way street, you gotta deal. You just can't have it his way, you can't have it my way, you gotta come to some compromise.
I have a question. You have all been talking about There's 3 access points. You talk about eliminating 1 or 2 of them. And are the residents on the other streets okay with keeping that access point open? I'm sure that the people on the streets that were the access point that was going to be kept open, I think everyone's going to have a complaint, no matter what you keep open
Absolutely.
or what you close, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, I just,
100%, but I'm just trying to be realistic here. Okay? I'm a realist.
right, because no one wants it on their street, right?
No, but
Okay.
if you look at the viability of the way you want to come in, look at what's the best route to do this
Okay.
plan.
It all funnels to one road.
And with all these 3 roads, the reason they did the 3 roads, it's what John said, it was to alleviate the traffic all coming out on the one road. But they're all gonna go to one road anyways. Buttercup is gonna go to Quince, Quince is gonna go down Valley View to Dahlia, Hazelnut's gonna come down to Dahlia. Quince is gonna come down, they all funnel into one spot, and that intersection that you talked about where she got hit, that's gonna be a cluster. I mean, people will run that stop sign. Oh, I know what else I wanted to say, is, just, I got one more minute here, is that part I talked about, the kids walking to the bus stop. All the neighbors, we respect our other neighbors, we slow down, we don't race up and down our street like crazy people. Development's gonna come in, you think those people are gonna slow down going through our neighborhood? They're gonna be in a hurry to get to their house, because they got nothing invested in here. That's my concern. Because everybody knows everybody in this community, at least our Garden City community, and we're all going to respect the other children walking there, we're gonna slow down, we're not gonna race up and down the street. But you can imagine, a new homeowner's gonna come in, he's gonna come off the Parkway, come down Old William Penn Highway, up Garden City Drive, onto Dahlia, up Valley View, over Quince, up Blueberry, and up Buttercup. And he's just worked all day, he wants to get home from work. He's gonna fly up those streets. You know it, you guys seen it. You've probably done it yourselves. Okay? So that's my argument. I'd say until the concessions are made that we talked about, let him come back with a better plan, I'd say no for right now. Eventually, you guys are gonna probably approve it, but let's get these concessions worked out. Let's just not rush this thing. There's still time to get this thing done right. Let's not make a mistake. They made a mistake over there at that senior citizens home at the other end of the runway. You guys made a mistake there. That thing should have been down at the other end of the airport. And then the housing could have been down over there, and you wouldn't have this problem with the access. You'd been coming off of Logan's Ferry. So a mistake was made there. Let's not make the same mistake twice.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for
You're
your time.
welcome.
Anyone else in the audience have anything to say, please?
I know.
Lois Drumheller, I signed in.
Thank you.
I've listened to some of the, hold just a second, please. I'm resetting my time here so I can time myself, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I've been listening to some of the comments that have to do with the access road, so what I've been looking at really has to do with some very basic functions of the Planning Commission. And I will say this and then move on to the real important matters here. But anytime that you've had something that comes up with a development and your attitude is to have the representatives from the people in the audience, who the residents meet with the developer, whoever that developer is, you're really usurping your own jobs. I don't think that I've ever seen anybody who is supposed to work things out as a resident who has come to give their testimony as to why it will or why it won't work. That is something that Planning Commission members should do. So if there is a reason to question, and I did question why they didn't have, I met with Paul Weldon. We looked at that traffic study. the traffic study didn't include access to Logan's Ferry Road. And if you look back at some of the things that were developed prior to that, perhaps there's a reason they didn't include that, because it would make it very difficult with added traffic coming from various areas that ultimately go on Center Road from Logan's Ferry Road and add a great volume of traffic because of the multi-family homes that are developed in Penn Hills and the ones that have been developed here along Oley and Penn, and all of that traffic affects Logan's Ferry. Why it wasn't considered, I still will never be able to figure out, but that certainly should be considered. That might be a condition that you would consider making for this to be recommended, okay? I have a DEP policy memo here, the Department of Environmental Protection, the Bureau of Water Quality Protection, and without going into everything here, because this is for quite a long document, it basically gives guidance and specific recommendations concerning design and construction of replacement of wetlands. So there is law on wetlands, and that's probably not new to you. But the reason I mention that is because the wetlands that were supposedly not existing from a previous development of NVRs was actually in the wetlands that were in Maple Crest Golf Course. I have a picture that I'm going to superimpose and see whether or not, this is not the greatest picture in the world. I have it facing me, and you'd have to get tight and zoom down on it. And then, yeah, let me keep moving it with you. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's great. Great eye in the sky. Okay, so what you're looking at here is something that was done by the same developer, a screenshot of the wetlands. Wetlands that existed, Mr. Weldon. Here's a screenshot of them detected by the presenter of Mr. Graham Ferry. He attended a council work session. He was doing a presentation on behalf of Maple Crest on the 3rd of January 2019. And during this work session, this screenshot shows the Maple Crest North Field. Now, it's just east of a border that would be a property that belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Henningsen on Maple Crest. And they have two wetlands that are indicated here, SP 16 and SP 17. That was pretty much on Mr. Henningsen's border, and SP 17 I think is further north. Those wetlands have been destroyed. They were destroyed by the development, and some of the things that you would no doubt need to have me remind you is that if there are wetlands that are destroyed, they need to be moved and set into motion elsewhere. You can't just destroy wetlands. These are wetlands. These were destroyed. These had no course that followed this. And so Mr. Ferry, he missed the acid water in these wetlands also, because they originated from this Oak Hill number 5 portal located close to the barn. I can't quite see the barn, perhaps that's it, if you're still there. And that building is now gone anyway, and it's shown in the lower middle part of the screenshot here. The entire area north of the barn was a 20% downhill slope, serving as a drainage area for a huge amount of drainage water. That was acid mine drainage. That had a pH of 2 or 3. Those were things that were wetlands. That's my biggest concern here, is that when you have irresponsible development, this is what happens. You have to make good what you took away. And so it is the responsibility of this body to make that recommendation. And I don't see where any of that stuff was happened. And then you have this same developer that is, had done some things that were, I think, in North Strabane Township. And it's very interesting to read this, because in noting that the company PSNR and Mr. Samos, they're parties right now being charged by NVR for their work on Majestic Hills. Majestic Hills, if you hadn't heard about it, is a development, and they had a landslide as a result of some of the things that were done through various parties, and they're all suing each other, and so far I think it's like $10 million. So they are part of those parties being charged. Before this meeting, I had asked the municipal manager whether or not there still is a performance bond. There's supposed to be a $2.4 million performance bond, and you might want to know how much is left of that, because, you know, you may have to do something about that. Moody and Associates, as far as I know, yeah, I mean, they were never hired, but the mine water remediation facilities described by Mr. Ferris in that meeting were never installed. And according to an email that I have read and I have shared with Mr. Weldon, between Mr. Henningsen and Mr. Little, previous manager, what was presented at the meetings doesn't mean that the project manager would even perform these tasks. In other words, the developer can present a pretty picture and then do something entirely different. So it behooves us to not get in a situation where you may be going through developers who are not responsibly developing, and they may be in the middle of lawsuits, and you may want to make sure you have enough money to cover some of the damages that are being done here. And this is, you know, it's really not necessary. If you're going to be putting something in, and you're going to be going into a 70-year-old neighborhood because you didn't even include Logan's Ferry Road in the traffic study, that should call something into question. So you have the ability to make suggestions, conditions, and that traffic study should include Logan's Ferry Road. I happen to know the county because I talked to my county representative, and Ms. Chappis told me that Down Center Road, basically from Boys Park on down, actually from Penn Hills on down, and Plum, you know, there have been all kinds of accidents going down there. And that may have been one of the reasons they didn't include Logan's Ferry in this traffic study. But what they need to do is take a look at these very difficult intersections that come from people leaving that plan, which would be the intersection of Logan's Ferry Road and Center Road, and decide, do we need to do a roundabout there? Do we need to have another approach to this? I already heard that they don't want to do traffic lights, but they need to fix that traffic moving through there for all of the added multifamily developments that have come from Penn Hills and what we've done here with Monroeville's apartments and condos, and especially from phases that haven't been completed yet for I don't know what reasons that were in Maple Crest. And, you know, you're going to really have a whole bunch of problems on your hand. Mr. Weldon, I don't know why you didn't remember that there were wetlands. I would say that you need to probe that memory because that was a very important point, and something needs to be done about restoring them. You can't just destroy them and not restore them.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
O'Malley.
for your time.
Appreciate it.
Since this is a public meeting and on the record, I think I just need to state that I'm not involved in any lawsuits, and I didn't develop the, what was the North Strabane or anything to do with that. So
I understand.
Okay, all right.
I understand.
Hey, sir.
Does anyone else have any comments?
Wait a minute. I thought
Sir, you already spoke. Ma'am, I saw your hand in the back.
Those pictures on the overhead. That's all.
Ma'am, you want to come up, please? Thank you.
Right here at the podium.
Right there.
Right at the podium.
Right up there. Please
I
state your name
apologize.
If you would, please.
for the recording secretary.
Suzanne Kromka.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm so sorry because I came in a little bit late. That's what happens when you become a grandma and you're on babysitting.
Congratulations.
And I live on Willow Hedge Drive. And we were, I don't know, we were kind of not included with a whole lot of discussion that was going on about this. Because it's the road off of Logan Ferry. First of all, we were greatly affected by the apartment building issue, and that's a whole other side story.
Excuse me. Can we have some quiet, please, in the back? Thank you.
I think
I'm
I'm the
sorry,
only one
Susan,
here
go
from
ahead.
Willow Hedge tonight, primarily because I guess I have a personal question, maybe with the developer, because I didn't know you had met with people at Evergreen. when the senior citizens apartment complex went up, they made an agreement with all of those folks that lived along Airport Road, that they would leave Airport Road open as rear access then to their properties. And there's a buffer there. Our property is the next lot over, so it's probably the first lot included in this development. Airport Road goes directly behind our property. Airport Road is no longer showing up on any of these plans anymore. We've lived in the house for over 26 years. Right behind our rear property line, there's a small piece of ground that has been a utilities right-of-way. There was always a telephone pole there and signs that said buried utility lines. And then there were some trees there, and then there's Airport Road. We have always maintained that piece of ground, kept it cleared, cut the grass for over 26 years. My question is, and rather recently, somebody came and cut the telephone pole down, and a big piece of it's just laying there. But there's still the signs for buried utility lines. So I guess my question is, with your plan, are you going to continue to have that Airport Road piece? Our lot, it kind of only affects our lot. The next lot down, it's all full of green, and that's where the parking area kind of opened up for the airport buildings. So I came tonight primarily because I missed meeting with you then, out of concern, because at this picture, it looks like one big wide lot is going to come right down, and it doesn't show any buffer space at all. So I'll show you, like, right here, because this is Willow Hedge. So this area right here, it looks like this lot comes right down here. Airport Road goes here, okay? And that developer, told all those people they were going to leave Airport Road open for them to have a rear access to their property. And this is our property right here. Airport Road no longer shows anymore. These trees are there. I'm very concerned about the ground being all dug up and disturbed there. It all comes downhill.
Yeah.
It's downhill from the airport, we're downhill from the Airport Road. We have more downhill, and Willow Hedge has already had issues with water. We're 354 Willow Hedge. We already have water that ponds in our back, the lowest backyard. I'm concerned about a buffer space of that development because it seems so large. I mean, that's our biggest, because I know most of the other things, we went through it with the apartment building and Logan Ferry Road, traffic, I'm just telling you what, it's a nightmare. And the apartment building hasn't even opened yet. That's just with the addition of the Maple Crest homes. Yeah, I mean, it's uncomfortable to stand and talk at a council meeting. But when you look at the whole layout of Monroeville, which we've loved living in Monroeville, we've loved Gateway. But one side of 22 in the Pole Garden City area is the most densely populated area, single-family homes with the least amount of green space. And everybody seems concerned about the environment and concerned about green space and concerned about wildlife. But except for on that side of Monroeville. One side of Monroeville has parks galore. And we have property being purchased by Allegheny Land Trust and continue to have green space for wildlife and birds and everything else. And then this side of Monroeville, that doesn't seem to matter anymore. Like, oh, all those people over there, oh, you guys want parks? Oh, that's what's every day, I walk the few feet from the end of Willow Hedge to get over to Evergreen Park because we have a teeny park area. We take our life in our hands at 6:30 in the morning, walking 20 yards along Logan Ferry Road because there's no berm. many times, people have been racing to get onto the Parkway for work and have just about hit us, and we've had and they don't bind by the stop sign, they blow the stop sign. Speed bumps, don't do anything. I'm just, I guess voicing a little bit.
I might be able to help you with the Airport Road question. So this is where Airport Road comes down,
Yes.
after Logan's Ferry?
Yes.
Is this your house or the next?
So ours is this is either our lot or this lot.
Okay.
We're 354 Willow Hedge. And Airport Road goes like this, and then it goes right behind our house, and then it would open up into where the buildings were.
Okay.
So it is still a road. It is still a road behind our house.
Okay, that road won't be used. Airport Road won't be used. This is a grading plan, so wherever you see dark solid lines, that's where there's gonna be earth disturbance. There's no earth disturbance in this area, so whatever it looks like now is gonna remain.
So this house, their lot line does not come down to there?
It does. That will be their backyard.
So is this Airport Road, though?
That dashed line, that's probably a setback line, but it's probably the same width. Airport Road is only about 10 feet wide.
So the development would not come across Airport Road and wipe it out? I guess is my question.
According to this plan, there's no disturbance down there. So if that road is there, it looks as if it's gonna remain the way it is.
And how could we have somebody come out to look at that? Because it does not look that way at all in this plan,
What doesn't look like that?
that the road is going to be left Airport Road. The way,
I don't know, am I allowed to go back up?
You can come up as many times.
yeah, I mean, that's,
You're unlimited. So this is the Airport Road that goes all the way up to Logan's Ferry.
and it is all open from this plan. It continues to go this way and is still a road a little bit further. Our lot it's either this one or this one. And
So I don't see
we
any
don't really want
proposed contours.
to know that somebody's backyard is
really.
going to come up into the
If
back of our
there's an
shed.
existing dirt road back here, you guys wouldn't go out of your way to remove it. No.
So somebody's lot would not cross over Airport Road. It would only go up to the edge of it?
Their lot line goes to the edge of the property.
I'm not sure where the
Yeah.
property line is in
I'd have to
relation to the
stake
road.
So that's
property
where
line.
there was always a utilities right-of-way that we maintained. That's why I'm here tonight. That's what my biggest concern
Okay,
is the
it's
piece
showing,
of
it's showing
ground.
underground electric.
That's
So that's
what runs
probably your
behind our
utility
backyard.
easement, yeah.
So there's probably an easement associated with that, so it's most likely not gonna be altered.
Okay. I apologize. I'm sorry. I mean, Willow Hedge people, we were left out of the loop of anything. I know. I don't know. So
Okay.
my biggest, and,
Susan,
yeah,
we,
I'm sorry.
no, I understand what you're trying to say, and you were the first time you've had the opportunity to speak. And, we take into account what everyone has to say.
And I think it's important to have good homes for people to live.
Right.
Monroeville's been a great place to live.
Right.
I guess just voicing a little bit of frustration because any green space has just been disappearing. And we all know, and I know all you folks that live in your neighborhoods too, we have coyotes regularly coming
I
through our
understand.
backyard on trail cameras.
Okay.
I mean, it's, and all the wildlife you talked about, so
All right. Thank you, Susan.
Thank
Your
you.
5 minutes are up.
thank you. Thank you. So I don't know if I can give you my phone.
Does anyone else on the panel have any comments for the audience? Darren, anyone can comment on some of the points that the residents have brought up that would clear, put them a little bit more at ease in regards to some of their concerns? Whether it's traffic, whether it's whatever.
I mean, some of the traffic comments made consist of, Logan's Ferry and Center Road and
Right.
Old William Penn. Those intersections are identified. The municipality knows that those are a problem.
And the studies have been made.
It's a matter of getting funding to do projects to solve those issues. And as far as capacity goes, the traffic study meets the ordinance. It was 95 units, less than 100 trips, which per the ordinance, a traffic study necessarily wouldn't have even had to be done, but we recommended that they do a traffic study given the nature of the development.
Anyone who has not spoken, you want to please come up to the mic,
Can I just ask a question?
state your name?
A question in regards to that, may I ask that? I guess not, I'm being ignored.
My name is Joe Ventresca. I live on Dahlia Drive.
Hi, Joe, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, I'd like to say, first of all, every point that was made by all 6 of these people, or five, 6, or 7 that said some are valid. My question is, it was said that these streets cannot be, I have 2 points that I want to talk about. The 2 points are, why can't the streets be widened? This is critical first of all, Dahlia and possibly Logan's Ferry. They should be widened and have sidewalks. I mean, if you're gonna, and the second point is, it shouldn't be 95 homes. At the most, it should be 50 homes that's gonna be going into this development. Because it's just gonna be too much traffic. You said the traffic studies were done, but they're not accurate as far as, from what I understand, I heard something like a car a minute. Well, a car a minute is a lot of cars. Was that on the traffic study? That's a question, isn't it?
I believe that was stated at a couple meetings ago, yes.
That's a lot of cars, if you ask me. That's why I think it should be reduced to 50 homes at the most and not 95. And the roads should be widened with sidewalks. That's the only thing I got to say, I mean, in my opinion. And I do have somebody here that has pictures. Am I allowed one of my minutes? A minute to me? There's somebody who's already spoken, because he has pictures of something.
Okay, sure.
I don't
You have
know if
photographs?
it's or not.
You have photographs?
He
Yeah,
has.
I wanna see if it'll pick up on it may work or may not, so we'll give it a shot, we won't waste your time here.
This is how narrow these roads are.
Is it right about here? Let me get this here. Is that coming up? No.
Yeah,
Give him a second.
Zoom in on it,
Give him a minute.
And,
keep going. Yeah, now you're getting there. Okay, so what you're looking at here, I took this on the way home today, just before the meeting. This is Buttercup Drive. And what you see here is, you got a car parked on the left, car parked on the right.
Sir, you have to
You can
stand on
barely-
the microphone.
Yeah.
He has to stand on a microphone
I'm sorry.
and explain.
Jim,
So,
stay at the
what-
mic.
is that- Okay.
Thank
Start
you.
as well. So what you see here is you got a car on the left and a car on the right, and you barely can get through there with a car. Now, if you get a delivery truck like a UPS, they usually park down at the bottom and they walk up to make the deliveries, because it's so congested. And that is Buttercup. Now I have one of Quince. This is going out earlier today. Lawn care service comes in. They always kept those big trucks and all their equipment behind that, and that's the mail truck down at the bottom. One more, so I won't bore you here. That's a little closer. That's, again, Quince, heading towards Valley View. This is just coming off of Blueberry. This is what we put up with, and this is what we're worried about. These roads are not really that wide. They're not, it's not Garden City Drive, and it's not Old William Penn Highway.
A double line.
And it's like, you get all these people in here, and it's just ridiculous, so, thank you.
Okay,
I
thank
still
you.
have some left on mine.
Sure, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Joe.
That's my concern, is how narrow these roads are. From Dahlia in particular, and Logan's Ferry needs to be widened also, with speed bumps. Speed bumps are critical also. And that's my take on the whole thing, that this is something that's a must. It's critical that these things are done. And this 95 homes are just entirely too many homes, if you ask me. And I'm not the only one, I'm sure. 50 at the most, if it's gonna go through, is what I think it should be. Okay? My opinion is to vote no, or table this again and vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe.
I have a question.
Okay.
Widening the roads, would that mean giving up some of your front yard?
I would gladly give up some of my front yard. Well,
And
3 feet of
even
my.
more for the sidewalk?
Yeah, for a sidewalk. I think 3 feet of our front yard is not ours anyway, isn't it? Is that
I'm
right?
not sure about that.
You're right.
Well, we're not sure if everyone would have that same position, Joe, that they would want to give
Yeah.
up their land to make the streets
But-
wider. That's just you, so
Yeah.
you can't speak for the rest of the residents.
But am I right that 3 feet in our front yard are not ours anyway, right?
There's a right-of-way,
Right-of-way.
50-foot right-of-way with most roads.
Right.
So you're responsible up to the curb for maintenance, but some of that property is right-of-way.
That's what I thought. So it's not up to me.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but if it is sidewalk, then they do have to maintain it, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And I wouldn't mind maintaining them.
Sure.
Yeah.
You would be liable if someone slipped and fell on that, so think about
Yeah, but I still think that it's critical.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Thank you. Does anyone else have any last comments here, because we're getting near? How are you, ma'am?
Hi there, good, how are you?
Good, your name, please?
Juanita Plascon,
Juanita? Okay.
yes. I am a resident on Greenleaf Drive. I
Okay.
have been watching the recorded videos in kind of horror these last 2 months. I've been a resident of Greenleaf Drive for 22 years. We bought the property from a person who actually had an airplane at the hangar at the airport, bragged he could walk from the back of the property to the airport in 5 minutes. You know, he flew his airplanes, he said, it's great, it's protected, it's private, and it's beautiful with all the wildlife. I have a PhD in biology, that's my backyard we're talking about building on. So I have a very personal invested interest. The first thing I wanted to say is the mine subsidence issue is huge. There, we have neighbors on Greenleaf Drive that have had sinkholes in their yards recently, in the last 2 years. I contacted the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP, to come out to my home, because recently, unbeknownst to me, we had some shifting. Our doors, our windows were not closing. I'm naive, I didn't know why. We have shifting. So now all of a sudden, I've got issues, and I'm looking out my backyard and realizing all of this development in my backyard, where's the water gonna go? It's gonna go straight into my backyard. Where's the wildlife gonna go? We have pileated woodpeckers, we've got foxes, coyotes, all of these things that people have been talking about. Their homes are gonna be destroyed. We have no more green space. That's the whole reason I bought the home, because it is floor-to-ceiling windows. I look out the backyard and it's peaceful and it's beautiful. So I have personally invested into the community. My kids went to Gateway, graduated from Gateway, and I feel like this is being taken from us, okay? So we don't want your access road on Greenleaf Drive either. Let me make that clear. And I did also have some comments about the traffic studies. We need traffic studies on O. William Penn and Laurel Drive, Laurel and Garden City Drive, Laurel and Greenleaf Drive, Greenleaf and Valley View, Valley View and Dahlia, and Quince and Valley View. And I absolutely implore you to vote no.
Thank you, Renee. Anyone else, any last comments, either from the panel or from the audience? No comments? No concerns?
Before we forget, there was emailed comments from Shar.
Yes.
Would you like to read those into the record, or just,
Well, we can acknowledge that we did receive the email, and the one phase there that she commented on was about building a bridge over a high-pressure gas line and so forth. It's been brought to our attention that even though that was made as a possible recommendation and a solution, that the gas companies would never allow such a thing of any sort of a mechanism or a bridge or any type of structure like that over a high-pressure line. So that would be out of the question. We had some other concerns also, again, for the last 3 months. A lot of the issues have been repetitive in regards to what people are concerned about. The mines, that's been addressed. The traffic flows have been addressed. The traffic studies have been done.
They haven't done all the studies.
I believe the studies have been made. Well, unless I'm missing something from the other two meetings.
May I please?
I know the developer and the residents were supposed to meet at some given point in time. That was delayed. We postponed that and tabled that last month till this month. And it seems like possibly very little was accomplished at the August 6th. What I think I need to make clear is, for us to be able to move forward, there are various items here this evening that are going to be probably only resolved in a legal manner, unfortunately. The Planning Commission does not have authority on a lot of the items to be able to be ruling on, and for us to continue to hold this in Planning Commission is really holding this up for everyone, you, the residents, and a developer. I believe the best course of action right now, this evening, would be to vote, let the vote be where it is, and then at that point, as I explained to you in the other meetings, you will have the option. It's no different than filing an appeal in a legal court of law. After we are done here this evening, whatever that may be, you have the right, you will be able to bring your concerns in front of council. And any other adjustments and so forth at that given point in time can be addressed then. But this is not going to accomplish anything continuing to table this in the PC. The Planning Commission, again, can only do so much. And keep tabling this, we're getting the same feedback each and every month. We're getting the same concerns.
No, you're not.
I understand the
No,
wild.
you are not.
I understand the wildlife scenario. I understand the schooling. We don't have authority over the school board. I addressed that to you last month, and I'll address it to you again this month. We cannot make decisions on schools. So for us to continue to hold this up at the PC, it's holding it up for you, the residents, and it's holding it up for the borough, and it's holding it up for the developer. So, pardon me?
No.
Just vote no.
You don't even have everyone here. There's two people missing.
Hold on, do you have quorum?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I am going to move forward. We're going to move forward with placing a vote. I'm going to seek a motion to approve, and at that given point in time, how this comes out, again, you will have the ability to go to council, and we can go from there. But again, I think it is unproductive at this point for us to continue to table this, because we have tabled this and we've given this more than enough time, and nothing is being accomplished here.
Why are you seeking a motion to
Okay.
approve?
You know, everyone else went up to the microphone more than once, so I'm gonna do it too. So yeah, no, there have been questions that I've been trying to ask that haven't been answered. As previously mentioned, no, not all of the studies have been done. There's a lot of intersections in Garden City that would be affected by this plan that traffic studies were not done upon, which is why, thank you for reading that. And, no, sir, I'm sorry, you're wrong. And I would like to ask, how are you able to vote when there are people missing? How does that work?
We have a quorum, but why are you asking for approval? Why don't you just ask for a vote?
We are going to vote.
No, but that's a fair question.
We
Why
are
are you
going to
seeking
vote.
to approve?
If you will sit down and give us the opportunity to do that, we can place a vote.
But we're asking you, why are you seeking to approve? That's a fair question.
Because continuing to table this is not going to accomplish anything at the PC level, at the Planning
I
Commission level.
understand that, but all of the concerns that all of the residents have provided are very valid concerns. There are so many reasons why you should vote no, but you're not going to give us an answer as to why. And I do have to question, this is why so many of the residents think that a backdoor deal is being had.
Well, that's incorrect.
Backdoor deal, get that on record, backdoor deal.
That's incorrect. All right. Does anyone else have anything else to say? Hey, we're going to have some order.
Right? And so if it goes to council and it's denied, it's approved. You can appeal it.
You need,
Then it gets in litigation. That's why we're trying to do it here.
Right,
Okay.
we don't want to hire lawyers.
Okay.
We don't want to.
all right, are we through?
I'm done.
Okay, we all through. Does anybody else have anything to say in the panel? Any comments? Okay. I'm going to seek a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
There was no motion.
There was no motion.
There has to
Do I have a second?
Second?
You're the same person.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
I'm seeking a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, I heard a
vote
second.
no.
All in favor?
I vote no.
We have one opposed. The ayes have it.
All opposed.
Mr.
I
Chairman,
oppose.
Yeah, three opposed. All right. Motion has died.
disappointed.
We will table this again until next month.
Roll call vote, please.
And, I'm sorry, you want to do a roll call? Sure.
Okay. Mr. Bertoni?
What is is it being tabled or denied?
It's been denied. It's been denied, and we will go through the vote for the denial. I will do a roll call.
I'm sorry, I thought the motion was to approve, and the people who vote yes want it approved, and the people who vote no do not want it approved.
They did not want it approved.
That's
I
why,
believe it was 3
that's
to...
why I want to take a roll call vote.
Okay.
It's a motion to approve by Mr. Siegelson and a second by Mr. Walker, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to take a roll call vote to make it clear. Mr. Bertoni?
I approve.
Mrs. Lawrence?
I do not approve.
Mr. Walker?
I do not approve.
Mrs. Lewis Burke?
No.
Mr. Siegelson?
I do approve.
Thank you. So it's denied.
So it is denied. Motion is died. Okay.
That's what community does. They support each other.
Okay. All right. At this point, we are going to go for an adjournment.
Motion.
Seek a motion for an adjournment, please. All in favor?
Second. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion. Evening is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.